Baking is in my blood from the 60s through the early 90s. My late grandfather ran a traditional bakery in Syria with my father by his side. Growing up on those stories, the bread taste stayed with me no matter where I traveled. I was always searching for a bakery that lived up to those memories. And I would constantly criticize every loaf we found until one day my wife finally had enough and she said, "If you know that much about bread, why don't you just bake it yourself?" I think she just wanted me to be quiet, to shut up, but she actually gave me the spark I needed. That was over 6 years ago. We started baking our own bread at home, which put me on the spot, to be honest, initially because I had no idea where to buy the right ingredients, but we figured it out eventually. And now, almost 200 kilograms of flour later, I'm launching this channel to show you don't need 100 different recipes to be a great baker. You just need to master the foundation. So please join me as I use one simple master dough to create as many different dishes as possible. This is episode 1 of Infinite Dough, one recipe 500 ways. We will start by testing if this dough could survive this tiny firebox. So it all starts with a Poolish. I'm using a tiny pinch of yeast today, but back in Syria my grandfather had a different secret. He actually used yeast once, and every day after that he would save a piece of that old dough. He would use that to ferment the next day's batch. So it was a continuous cycle of flavor.
And when you go, I will fall back apart.
Alright, done mixing, preparing the Poolish. Now we cover it, leave it at room temperature for 45 minutes to 1 hour, and then into the fridge for another anything between 16 to 24 hours. And here we are, it's the next morning, over 16 hours passed, and it's alive. Look at the bubbles. This is what would give the bread that deep artisan flavor. Now we add the remaining of the water. I'm using between 65 to 70% hydration, and then the remaining of the flour, the remaining of the 1 kilo, and some salt. I melt the salt with the water. And now we mix the main dough. Ironically, my grandfather was a baker and my father also was a baker, but I didn't learn this method from them. I actually learned this Polish method from an incredible Italian pizza chef here on YouTube. I think you might know of him, Vito Iacopelli. He is a master of the craft, and I have adapted his technique to work for my smaller home batch. Even if you are not a pizza fan, you might actually change your mind just watching his technique and the way he makes pizza. He makes pizza look more attractive and more appealing. I will leave a link to his channel in the description. Right, done with the mixing. Now into kneading on the table. We'll be doing kneading 2 to 3 times, and we let the dough rest in between for like anything between 10 to 20 minutes. And then after that you add a little bit of oil, 20-25 grams of oil towards the end to make it smoother. Oil actually helps cooking, especially the inside part. And then once done, we put it in the container, cover it, and into the fridge overnight for another maybe another 24 hours. Alright, it's the next day, baking day today. Take the dough out of the fridge. Never bake with a cold dough, just leave it at room temperature. Let it rest at anything between 1 to 2 hours. Look how flexible, look at that elasticity, because we are doing cold fermentation. This goes into the fridge for 24 hours, so the cold temperature develop the flavor and make the dough much easier to handle. We use rice flour for stretching and balling. We don't throw that away. After we are done using it, we compost it. We have a composting garden where we compost most of, if not all of, our kitchen scrap. And in that same garden, we actually grow most of the herbs you will see us using. I will leave a link to our YouTube channel where we talk about composting and gardening. I will leave a link to that in the description. Please have a look also and see how we grow this topping. Alright, now the real test, the Japanese fish grill. It has no temperature control, it's just high direct flames. And because the heat is fixed, so I'm using a foil, an aluminum foil, to protect the top. So this allows the inside to bake completely before the top part start to burn. Otherwise the top part will just burn instantly. Here we go. Wow, look at that. Smells great. Let's try. Brings back memory. This is what my grandfather's bread used to taste like. This is it. One dish done, 499 to go. Thank you for watching.